Hello everyone, I'm Prazak and I welcome you to this video. It's the first in a series of developer diary videos, and over time we would like to show you both the basic and more advanced features of ARMA II. The game is very complex and allows you to do many different things, control anything from a single character, a unit, armored vehicles, choppers, airplanes, ships and more. High command and warfare modes add even more to this, making ARMA II one of the most complex military simulations to date. So we feel a basic introduction to some of the various topics may come in handy. We will start today by demonstrating the very basic game controls and principles.
ARMA II looks like a typical FPS shooter. Look around with the mouse, move using the typical WSAD key configuration, and it all looks pretty standard to any FPS game. However, there are many things that make ARMA II quite different. First of all, it's a simulation, and at all times your entire body is present in a game. So it's not like a fake gun fixed somewhere in the screen. It's an actual character model with hands and with full body simulated within the environment, which brings with it some consequences for the gameplay. One of the many differences is that, for example, you fire from the exact position of the gun as it is in the game world. It also has some effects such as the parallax of the bullet fired to the cursor. So at close ranges this effect is significant, at distance it's not so important. Despite the game primarily being played from a first-person perspective, you can at any time switch between a first and third-person view. This may be limited by the difficulty settings for a single player and also on some multiplayer servers. Some people feel that a third-person view is not realistic. However, it's not as simple as that, because the third-person view gives you a much better feeling of your body, as it fits into the game. In the real world, you have a broader field of view as well as being able to feel objects with your body, such as how close you are to a building or wall. Of course, you also have far more peripheral vision in real life. So in fact, I would even say that the third-person view is in some aspects more realistic than a first-person view, in terms of the world you see around you. So it's very good to have both options. The controls in ARMA II allows the users many ways to move and interact with the world around them. They also feature a lot of advanced or complex features. One of the very important options is that you can freely look around whilst moving in one direction in a game environment. This you can do by holding the Alt key and moving the mouse. You can see that the character continues moving in the original direction, but can still scan the entire environment whilst moving. This is very important because keeping situational awareness in the game environment is crucial. You have multiple stances which you can use as you move around. You can walk, run, sprint, as well as also being able to crouch or go prone to lower your profile. You can, of course, continue to move around whilst crouched or prone, just at a slower speed as is realistic. Your stance also influences the stabilization of your weapon. It's generally more stable when you go prone or crouch, and this also helps to make you a smaller target. In the game, as a general control principle, some of the keys can just be held and will result in temporarily doing something. So for example, when I run and hold the shift key, I walk. Then I can release the shift key to continue running. However, we also allow you to lock such actions. So if I double click shift, that means I will walk, and temporarily holding the shift key then makes me run. It's similar for leaning. I can hold the Q key and it means I lean to the left. But I can also double tap the Q key and now I'm locked into leaning to the left. This is very useful because often you want to carefully check what's behind a corner. So you double tap the Q key and then slowly approach the corner. You can see there is no enemy. So you click the Q key again to stop leaning and move forward. The same of course applies to the E key, which is leaning to the right. It's also possible to climb over small obstacles. By default this is assigned to the V key. This new action is very welcome in an environment because in the village of Chernarus there are many small fences. We don't allow soldiers to jump because when you are in full gear there is really not much possibility to be jumping around. Your aiming is influenced by many other things than just your stance. One of these is that your stamina influences your precision. If you run for a long period of time, you're more out of breath and your aiming becomes less accurate as a result. This is indicated by the weapon cursor, which gets broader as a reflection on your current stamina. You can also temporarily hold your breath by holding down the right mouse button. This simulates the way you would focus on one particular area. So you basically aim at a specific point where you want to be as precise as possible. You hold the right mouse button and you can see that you zoomed to that particular spot and also temporarily held your breath for a very accurate aiming. You can also see the world through either the iron sights or the optics of your gun. For that, you click the rise mode button once to bring the optics or iron sights to your eye. As with regular aiming, holding down the right mouse button allows you to zoom in and concentrate on a particular spot for very precise aiming. When you're in iron sights mode, it's not possible to run, because of course in real life you'd injure your eye if running with the iron sights close to it. Unlike our previous games, it's now also possible to reload whilst moving. It's done in a realistic way, that if you move too quickly it's not possible to reload. But when you press the reload key, the character's movement slows down and you reload your gun. Whilst prone, another move that's possible is a side roll. Sometimes it's very useful to quickly roll into and out of cover. You will also see that rolling like this will flatten the grass around you and quite easily prepare a firing position so that the grass doesn't obstruct your view.
That's it for now. Looking forward to seeing you again soon. Have fun and don't forget to check our website www.arma2.com for new videos, screenshots and game updates.